Does this sound familiar? You got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Ugh. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle. And a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows like Survivor all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part? There's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's DIRECTV.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
I'm strictly a milk and fruit juice man myself. Chocolate soda, or a lemonade, or a big tumbler of cool milk, or even just a glass of ice water when you're thirsty.
Stop it, I'm drooling.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network, a fine network. We're here in the Classic Factory, Tuesday, February 1st. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Happy February, everybody.
Hey, Tassie. We got our Top Shot hot boy. Looking like Fonzie the Bear. It's Trey Kirby. Hey!
Wow.
That looks comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, worst shirt week continues. I usually like to wear it with a red t-shirt underneath for like the full Pooh Bear effect.
All right.
But I could only go for the blue today.
Have you seen that Magic Johnson photo at the 88 All-Star game? That's what it looks like, yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
We've got the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, making the magic happen over yonder, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is.
Sorry, Skates, did you say Fonzie the Bear?
Yeah, what's his name?
Fozzie.
Fozzie.
No N.
I got, yeah.
Sit on it.
I did say Fonzie. Yeah, Fozzie. Hey, no, I like that. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Sorry to keep a few of you waiting there. Subscribe, like, comment, share the show. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Big news. We're hitting the beach tomorrow, but not within the Daily Show. Our very own Beach Steppin' podcast. It's been a while since we've had a private beach episode, as Tass called it. So that will be our second show there on Wednesday. So you can still got a little bit of time to get your questions into nodunks@theathletic.com or tweet them in at nodunks_inc. And speaking of that, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at nodunks_inc. Okay, on today's show, we got a little Is This News? We'll discuss, unfortunately, the Joe Ingles news. We officially learned that he's going to be out for the season, and a couple other headlines that I'll throw at you guys. But let's start with the games. Lots on last night, and man, this one that we're starting with, a banger.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Ellis, Tyrese Maxey leads the 76ers past the Grizzlies 122-119 in overtime. And I will note, Philadelphia, without Embiid, pick up this victory.
Yeah, and going into the game, this looked certainly like the marquee matchup of the night. Then Joel sits out because of rest. And so, in some ways, a really good chance for Philadelphia to show that they are more than just Embiid and just like they don't rely on him solely to win games against a fantastic opponent. So, and it started off great. The Sixers got off to a really hot start there. Tyrese Maxey was brilliant. We'll get to him a little bit more later on. But Andre Drummond coming into that starting lineup. I mean, Andre Drummond should be on a max contract, really, shouldn't he? I mean, he's a young player. He's a star player. He just hasn't really been able to find a home. But now when you can just bring him off the bench and he has a monster night, it's just a huge luxury there for Philadelphia. So anyway, the Sixers got off to a good start, as I mentioned. The Grizzlies fought back. And then this game went to overtime. Crazy stuff here. But overtime started, and Philadelphia were down by a point.
It's tough to be playing from behind already.
I've never seen that before. In fact, I would have thought that the tech foul should have been sort of like taken by Memphis in regulation still, rather than going into overtime. That happened to me one time. I think I've told you the story. I gave up a basket in a game I was playing, and it tied the game. I was defending the guy, and I kicked the ball, got a tech. They got free throws and won the game.
Right, and so just so for those that don't know,
Yeah.
Doc Rivers upset that there was no foul called at the end.
Yes, on Seth
Game
Curry.
ends in a tie, or sorry, regulation ends
Yeah.
in a tie. We're headed to overtime, but he picks up the tech, and then the Grizzlies get to shoot that free throw. And then when they jump it up, 5 minutes in overtime,
They're
the
trailing.
score shows Grizzlies up 1. Yeah, very weird.
And then even in overtime, the Grizzlies looked like they were in charge at this one. They were up by 4 points, which in overtime, in a tight game like this, is often enough. But then the Sixers came back. Danny Green hit a big three. Danny Green's often the bane of Philadelphia fans' existence. Last night, hit a three, missed another one. And then closing out defensively, I thought Matisse Thybulle was really good on Ja Morant. Ja Morant last night, if you follow me on Twitter, I was just putting up every play he had last night, because everything he does is just incredible to watch. His athleticism, his levitation. He had an incredible play there just to was that regulation or overtime? I can't remember now, where he goes up against Andre Drummond and he's like bending and twisting in the air and he flings it up and it goes in, gets the and one. Incredible stuff there. So Memphis seemingly in charge, and then the Philadelphia 76ers get this win, and Tyrese Maxey, 33 points and 8 assists last night. I thought he was incredible for Philadelphia. I think he's been really good all season. And Kyle Neubeck points out this morning in the Philadelphia Inquirer, Philly News.
Fonzie,
Philly voice. Sorry, Philly voice.
Whoa.
I know.
Choir Irving.
But they need to unlock this version of Tyrese when Joel Embiid is there. Because really, this is the thing. He's been really good for them this season. They're not missing Ben Simmons in a game like that last night, where Tyrese Maxey is just... He reminds me of like a Ty Lawson almost, the way that he just guns it down the floor like that. He's high speed all the time, and he closed it out with a nice little layup. So every do that was there from Tyrese was matched from a dar with Ja Morant last night. So I had to squeeze it in there.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Before you showed up, Taz,
Nobody else.
he told JD that he was going to do the Maxi Doodah joke. He wasn't sure when.
Like, I'm trying not to. I'm trying my best.
It's like,
Why did you have to inform JD?
Well, he formed the classic. Right?
Yeah. I said to JD, you have to wait for it to come in. Anyway, this game just had me flush last night, because it was an awesome game. It still was an awesome
incredible
game, considering again. And Joel Embiid at the end came sprinting out. It's like that wrestling meme. He's out, and then all of a sudden they win, and he gets out of that wheelchair, and he just running out there and celebrating the teammates. So
You say Tyrese Maxey sprints down the floor. You're sprinting right now, mate.
I know. I was
You're
hyped
high
up.
right
I was
now.
hyped up. I mean, there were so many really good things to take out. Desmond Bane was awesome last night, I thought, for the Grizzlies. But yeah, Ja Morant, I mean, he had the dipsy-do little layups in there. I think I might be convinced the best way to play Ja Morant is to get out of his way completely. Right.
Because he seems to miss the easier shots than he does like the more difficult three guys, contort his body, take a hit, flip it up. Like
when you think he's about to shoot, he's got 3 more moves before he actually releases the ball, and he's got the soft touch there. Didn't shoot from 3 well last night, but everything else was great. So really great game. But again, the main point, I think, Philadelphia winning without Embiid, who's been playing maybe the best basketball of his career over this little patch here.
Easily.
And that, I think, the fact that they rested him was like, we do think that he's going to be playing another 15, 20 games at the end of the season. So even though it's against a great opponent, the Grizzlies, we're taking the night off tonight, and it paid off for them.
Are we just going to let it go that you said that Andre Drummond should have a max contract?
Well, what I mean by that is...
Young.
He's young. He's in his prime. He's a 2-time All-Star. You know, like, he should be... They got him for nothing. $2.5 million, I think they signed him for. Basically, like, no one else wanted him. And Andre Drummond, remember when he was in Detroit, he went to Cleveland for a second-round pick. He went to the Lakers when the Cavs last year were like, we don't want him. He's sort of too good. Stay at home type of thing. It didn't work out in LA, fine. But then it was like, who wants Andre Drummond? Sixers like, great, we'll take him.
Yeah.
And
16, 23, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks for him.
Yeah.
23 rebounds?
Yeah.
That's right.
JD. Good news, I found my external hard drive. We're getting closer to unlocking the beef supply chain.
Nice.
But I think Drummond is in the perfect spot. Backup center for the Sixers is like a super valuable position, and if they're able to get him for only $2.5 million, what a find, because 23 rebounds and just the ability to step in and help the Sixers kind of like mitigate the possession battle against the Grizzlies, because the Grizzlies are usually pretty solid at that, between offensive rebounds and getting steals. Having Drummond out there at least kind of chips into that. He had 10 offensive rebounds last night, which is battling against Steven Adams. That's exactly what you want to see. You just see the difference in rim protection, really, that Drummond brings versus Joel Embiid, because I think if Embiid is the guy going against Ja on some of those layups, maybe he's getting a finger on some of those crazy finishes that he's pulling off. But yeah, great game for Drummond, great game for Maxey, and Tobias Harris was really solid as well. 31 points, 12 of 25 shooting. You know, not the greatest, but at least he was productive, and he was making some smart plays in the pick and roll.
Yeah, Drummond has totally let it go that he's going to be a superstar in this league. Well, he thought he would have been. And if he got a max contract, of course he thought he would have been. But he's gone from that starter's role. He's just gritting and grinding against the grit and grind Grizzlies. And Tyrese Maxey scoring 33. If you're a reader of the Philadelphia Inquirer or the Philly Voice or whatever, maybe you're a little worried as a Philly fan that Tyrese Maxey playing really well kind of allows Daryl Morey to hold the Ben Simmons card until the summer, because he watches Maxey and he watches Curry, and I hope Joel Embiid's watching Maxey and Curry try and take over at the end of games there as he sits on the sidelines, and allows them, if they don't trade for somebody, to try and finish games, and Embiid doesn't have to take over. And we'll get to some Kings and Sixers rumors a little later in this show, but now Morey 9 days away. He's got Ben Simmons in the pocket. If he sees Maxey doing what he does out there, playing really, really well, does this allow him to try and hold out for more and more and more? Or, is this the Embiid year where he's got to make a trade? But it sure seems like he's hanging on to him at this point.
Yeah, what do you think what Taz is saying here? Like, if Maxey has, had a brutal last month, let's say, and has given them nothing at the point guard position, do you think then Morey, is held over the fire a little closer to make a Simmons move? Or when he plays like this, I mean, this was one of his best games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen explosions like this from Maxey before, but this is by far one of his best games. Is Tass right? Is this like, if anything, maybe they will not be trading him here at the deadline and they'll wait till the summer?
There's no need for him right now because they are playing really well, and Embiid's at that level. So to just give him away right now wouldn't make sense. If they can get that really good value that they're looking for, then he'll make the move. Otherwise, I just don't see why he would just say, all right, I'll take pennies on the dollar at this point. Again, I think Simmons really needs to sort of say, okay, at this point, I need to go out there now and play my way out of Philadelphia. It's too late probably for this season, but he needs to sort of say, okay, the team isn't missing him all that much. So his own value is, I think, dropping as well. I think teams
I guess, what does he care about that? I mean, he gets his money.
But does he? I don't think he's getting paid.
Well, I have no idea. You're right.
I don't think he is. I mean,
fines he's getting.
I just think again, as you mentioned, if the Sixers are right now like, oh man, they're 4 games below 500, Embiid's playing MVP level, but they're wasting the season, then Morey sort of has to. But right now, it's kind of like, I'm not just going to give him away for nothing. If that big deal that they really want is on the table and it comes to fruition, he'll take it. Otherwise, I don't think he's going to make that move.
The flip side of that, though, is Embiid is playing so well, and some of these guys are contributing at pretty high levels here, that they look like a legit title contender.
They do.
I mean, in somewhat of a wide open East right now, that then he's like, whoa, maybe we should be active in making a move and getting a player or two to help actually win a championship, which is the whole point of this thing.
But is that Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield?
Well, I mean, that's the question.
Yeah,
right.
Come on, Daryl. Come on, Daryl.
Well, and then I counter that with, well, you say holding out for a bigger star player. Is that a guarantee that comes in the summer or around the draft?
No, of course not.
No.
But
you just be right back at square one.
Yeah.
But he's banking that it will be the longer you wait and these teams, whatever, fall out of playoff races.
I'll say I think they're paying him. They have to be paying him. I don't think
so too.
I don't think the union would allow a guy not to be paid, especially with the mental health issue going on.
I agree. But they weren't paying him. I mean,
are you 100%
before camp? You're talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you don't think Ben Simmons has seen $1 from the Sixers in terms of like his salary this year? I feel like that would be a bigger story.
I think he's saying. I think the Philadelphia approach would be he's not reporting, and if he's not reporting, then we don't have to pay him.
Well, he has been there. He's dealing with the Philadelphia's doctors. I mean, he's there. It's a different scenario than when he was holding out from camp.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but they certainly appeared to be saying, "Well, if you're just not going to play, we're not going to pay you." So I don't know.
Awesome game, like really was super entertaining. Did you have a favorite Ja Morant play from this one, or even from one of the Sixers? But Ja Morant had 6 or 7 stupid plays.
He revved the motorcycle after a dunk.
He sure did.
Which I thought was great to see. That's a Vince Carter shout-out or a Dirk Nowitzki shout-out?
I think it's a Vince because he did it in Memphis. Vince was riding the motorcycle in Memphis.
Good call.
And he had teammates doing it too in Memphis, so I think it's carried over.
Yeah, that one was incredible. He also, I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, Lee, but the one where he somehow went inside of a body to finish still on the left hand, that was crazy to me. It's Derrick Rose that to me is the only guy he can actually be compared to. You hear Westbrook a lot. You say Penny sometimes Skeets because he really plays with the ball at the very end of his arms, which I guess is where your hands are. But the body control and the finishing inside is Derrick Rose to me there were oohs and ahs from the Philly crowd just seeing him make layups. And we used to talk about trying to have a cool layup contest with Derrick Rose. Like, Ja would blow it away right now. It'd be him and Kyrie Irving in the finals. That's it.
Come on, Ja. Get there on Saturday night. Make the skills contest worth it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
skills.
The skills. It's been dying a slow death since the inception. But if he can get out there.
But he needs, like, opponents to be.
Maybe throw some big pile. Maybe throw a cutout or something. I get it.
Have him go against Tybal. Just see how it goes there, because I think Tybal is great.
Oh, I mean,
He is incredible.
it's impossible to stay in front of Ja Morant. He did an admirable job as moving as fast as could. Now, I thought the Grizzlies had a chance to win this game. Was it Williams wide open in the corner? Like, awesome look at a three-pointer. I mean, he hits that. It's probably a win for Memphis. I think Ja Morant created that one, if I remember that correctly.
That's right, yeah.
But Thybulle then had the very intelligent, I think it's the same play, where he saved it going out of bounds. And, you know, my old coach would be like, what are you doing? You never save the ball going out of bounds under your own net. Yeah. But when there's very little time left on the clock, if you're going to, especially if you know it was out on you, and I think it was going to be out on the Sixers, so the Grizzlies would have another chance, he threw it like high enough and arced it basically to half court. And then that's where Tyrese Maxey sort of grabbed it and hit the layup at the end. Should have been a technical foul called on the Sixers, though, people are saying.
For what?
Curry was out on the floor.
Oh.
Yeah, he honestly was. He came out like 5 feet, and the game wasn't over yet. But no, it was a great save from Thybulle, and he is an incredible defender.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I saw a lot of it for the Olympics in Australia. He was so good in that role there, and that's what he does for Philadelphia. I mentioned start of the season I wanted him as most improved. Yeah. Because if he can score and shoot and consistently knock down shots, then his value just increases so much for Philadelphia. Bit of a liability offensively though at times.
He didn't miss a shot last night.
Yeah.
It's 2 for 2.
Yeah, I love his little hooks off the backboard. You know, those are beauties. When you don't have a pull-up game, just throw it up there.
All right, let's keep it going here. Next game, Steph Curry heats up late to lead the Warriors over the Rockets 122-108. TK.
Yeah, a bit of a pickup game here. Not a lot of interest in defense, a lot of wide open dunks and shots, and thanks to Kevin Porter Jr., a little trash talk.
Yep.
Got in Steph Curry's ear at the end of the third quarter, and that was a huge mistake because Steph Curry went off in the fourth quarter. He finished with 40 points. He had 21 in the fourth, went 7 for 10 from the field, and hit 4 threes. It was every kind of Steph Curry shot. The classic pull-up threes. He hit a nice little jumper, just like a 18-foot jumper. Classic to see. Hit a lefty floater, but my favorite was when he had a jump ball against Jayshawn Tate. Won the jump ball, relocated, he gets the pass from Clay, hits a 3 from the left corner. We're going to be getting another Steph Curry MVP push. He kind of lost it a little bit in January, didn't shoot the ball very well. He's had a couple of nice games here recently, but as soon as Draymond gets back, makes things a little bit easier for him, and just bouncing back in general. Like, when you see Steph Curry shooting 30%, it doesn't mean he's a 30% shooter. Right. It means he's going to shoot 50% very soon, and I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to get a little rest at the All-Star break. Draymond will come back in not too long, and things will get even easier for Steph, so that was definitely fun to see in the fourth quarter. And another good game for Andrew Wiggins. The guy gets named to one All-Star team, and suddenly he's an All-Star. 24 points, 8 of 14 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. What a gem. What a gem Wiggins Island is.
I'm not going to be an All-Star until you name me as an All-Star.
That's
then
right,
I'm
man.
an All-Star, yeah. The one I love was the one over Garrison Matthews, where he came down probably 33 feet out, and as he shot it, he just starts trotting back the other end.
Steph.
Yeah. Because it's been a weird story. I know he's not shooting, he did have a rough month, but it was kind of like, oh, Steph's shot's gone. I'm like, why are we get so dumb on the internet. People just write the stupid. I mean, as if that's anything more than just a glitch. I mean, he's the greatest shooter we've ever seen.
It was a long slump for Curry. It wasn't a weekly.
I know, but it's like, it's Steph. I mean,
I know.
I think it's like, it's so quick to sort of pounce on, like, oh, finally, he's got a weakness there. If you want to bank on like that happening for the rest of the season, go ahead. It's a bad bet. He's going to come back.
Do you think it's possible Kevin Porter Jr. at the start of the season laid a little coin on Steph Curry for MVP? Seen him fall out of the race a little bit. Yeah, maybe I'll crouch down, talk a little trash, get him going. Maybe this is something that unlocks him and gets him, like Trey said, back in the race.
That's one of the great things in the NBA is an all-time great on the road. just shutting everybody up.
Yeah.
It's still one of the greatest things. Even LeBron in Brooklyn a few weeks ago, that's one of the best things to watch. I think my highlight this season is getting to see Ja Morant in person. I'll always remember that. But seeing these little moments, they're great. Curry had 21 in the fourth quarter, as you said. The most ever he scored in a fourth, according to Anthony Slater. That was surprising to me.
surprising.
Yeah, just kind of throw that in there. But he played all 12 minutes.
in a fourth.
Yeah. But, I guess throughout the years, hasn't played 12 minutes in a fourth quarter because they were smashing people.
Right.
And so he played every single second in this fourth quarter, feeling fresh, feeling fine. And, I guess he will make another push here. As long as Kevin Porter's on the other side talking in his ear. I think Kevin Porter hit a shot trying to get into Steph's face, and that was great. That was fun to watch.
That's what you need on a Monday night in the association. All right, our next game, the Raptors ended the Hawks' 7-game win streak behind Gary. That's right, Gary Trent Jr., who's on fire. I mean, this guy's Steph Curry right now. And Siakam had another great game. The one thing, I'll set it up for you, no Trey Young for the Hawks. It was all a very late scratch. I guess he got a bum shoulder.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that, yeah. The all-star starter.
I know, people come out and say, hey, the Raps have had injuries too. And of course they have. But the Hawks would have been able likely to pull this one out if they had their man. But who cares? Let's talk about a man named Gary Trent Jr., the son of Gary Trent, who used to play on the Toronto Raptors once upon a time. He's had 4 straight 30-plus point games. He's hot. And as Pascal Siakam said after the game, he is just a tough shot maker. That's where he earns his money. He likes guys in his face. It's a little Ja Morant-esque. He likes guys around him. I started thinking about who are the toughest shot makers currently in the NBA. Who wants a guy, or who is comfortable with a guy sort of draped all over them? I think DeMar DeRozan is a good one. I mean, you can talk about the all-time greats. Kobe was an incredible one, but currently, I don't know. Gary's up there as a guy who you can say Kevin Durant, but he's not. Doesn't have a hand in his face when he makes tough shots. So it's very different. I don't know if you guys can think of anybody else just off the dome.
Luka's a lot of massive fadeaways.
Yeah, Luka's a good one. He's a very, very good one. So Gary is scored. He hit 9 threes. He's actually helping out on the defensive end. He kind of shut down Bogdanovich a little bit towards the end. He was their go-to guy on the perimeter because Trey wasn't there. And you got to be happy. You got to be happy with Nick Nurse's rotations, right? It was only a week ago. He's not playing enough guys when they weren't winning, but he's basically playing since that 3 guys they played 50-plus minutes in that triple overtime game. Doesn't matter. He's still playing 8 guys, and that's fine. And that's fine.
Really? 7?
Yeah, 7 and a quarter. Yeah, 7 guys, and some guys who played for a few minutes. And it's fun to watch this team if Gary's going to be that hot. He's I don't know how those shots go in. He's really a no, good shot type of guy, and they're going in right now. Again, 4 straight with 30-plus points. He won them this game.
We have a thing here on the show called Good Gourds. What about Great Garys?
Great Garys.
Yeah, you want to start a Great Gary team? Guys that hit tough shots with people in their face. 106-100 victory. This was close. No Trey Young, like I said. The Hawks were in this, and it was Van Vliet setting up OG in the corner for the back-breaking 3. That was a sick pass, actually, from Van Vliet, who had a rough game shooting the ball wise, like 6 of 20 overall, did hit 4 threes, but that play to OG, just like the Hawks just all converged on him, and he just took one more beat too to give OG even a little bit more time to set up in the corner there, and then nice little bounce pass, and he splashed it down. Anything to add to this game?
Well, it was a good game. We saw another incredible highlight from Okongwu when he just ripped the ball. I think that was out of Gary Trent driving into the lane there, just ripped it out of his hands. I was checking the box score this morning if they gave that a steal or a block.
And?
What do you think it was?
Steal.
So did I. It's a block. Yeah,
great.
I mean, he stole it, didn't he? But I guess he was going.
Those hands are going up.
But he was great. But yeah, the Hawks. This was a game where I thought they were going to win this one. And tonight we've got the Raptors and the Heat, both on a back-to-back, and both coming off that triple overtime game from night. It could be a bit ugly down at the Scotiabank Arena.
I think Nick Nurse will play 4 guys tonight.
I know. That's the thing. I mean, you look at that rotation, and does he just not trust those guys at all to not even go, okay, we need 2 minutes of mop-up time here, guys? Or is it just these are the guys, and I'm just going to play them into the ground because I think it could catch up to the Raptors here at some point.
It could. I mean, I think we even saw it a week or so ago with Van Vliet a little bit when he was playing massive minutes, and then he hit a little stretch there where he was he looked exhausted.
He's still slumping.
But the
Van
other
Vliet is
guy,
still slumping.
Yeah. The other guys, though, Siakam is one of the most well-conditioned athletes in the league. I don't think that gets discussed enough. He gets stronger and faster as the game goes on. And then, I guess you're helped out by not playing like a slumbering 7-footer, right? Like
Sleepy guy.
To play 40 minutes. Like, we're talking about Barnes, who's 19 years old, and he's fine. He can play 80 minutes a game. OG's incredible athlete. Same with Siakam. I guess my point is, if there's any team that could sort of do this, I think the Raptors are built this oddly this way, but not that that's a good thing. You need to have a bench. But yeah, I said it the other day. Their starting five can hang with anyone in this league. I'm convinced on that.
Can I throw a quick trivia?
Yeah.
Lee's up for it, of course we are. Gary Trent, 9 threes.
Yeah.
The 6th Raptor to do it in NBA history and in franchise history.
Okay.
Give me the other 5.
Donyell
Marshall
Vince.
hit 12. Vince, we're including that was a playoff game.
Okay.
We're including that 50-point game against
Van
the
Vliet or
Sixers.
Lowry?
Fred.
Yeah.
He did it.
Lowry
yeah.
didn't?
No, Lowry did not.
Capono?
Oh,
Capono, sir.
Not enough attempts.
A wild.
Tracy Murray.
Terrence
No.
Ross?
Terrence Ross did,
yeah.
yeah. Wild, that's great. We're almost there. Wild role player that was mentioned a few weeks ago on the show. You don't think of as a Raptor. We were opening
Tracy
packs.
Murray?
No.
Oh.
In the same light, you don't think of him as a Raptor. He had a daughter in the WNBA, still currently in the WNBA.
D. Brown.
D. Brown.
Whoa.
He had,
Nice
ni-
one.
he had 9 threes for the Toronto Raptors. Are you kidding me? So we got Vince, we got Gary, we got Terrence, we got Fred, we got them all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
good stuff.
Good trivia. Just to add on to that, I did see if Gary Trent Jr. in his next game, I guess against the Heat here, if he scores 30 plus, he will tie the franchise record with DeRozan for most consecutive games of 30 points or more. What were you laughing
Well,
at?
he had 31. I thought we were going down the Bob
No,
McAdoo.
not a Bob McAdoo.
Is he going McAdoo?
Stat
Oh, he's
for you.
better than McAdoo. He had like a 32 and a 33 in that stretch, too.
Yeah. More games here. Let's get to
That's
them.
a joke. That's a joke.
Let's get to them.
Let's get to them.
Goodwin's 21 helps the Cavs beat the Pelicans 93-90 without Garland. I slipped this one in here because I saw Tass tweeting about Goodwin last night. We had just talked about the Cavs
I'm going
probably
deep,
needing
baby.
some backup point guard help, right? With Rubio, of course, out, with Sexton out, Garland's out of this game. It's like, this is a good team, but they could probably use some minutes there in the backup point guard position because Rondo's probably not the answer at this point of his career. But then, Tess, here's Goodwin coming through 21 as they get the victory.
Yeah, I'm surprised Brandon Goodwin hasn't got more time, and I'm not sure if there's an injury involved there, but he came on with all those injuries that were happening with Rubio and Sexton. He came in, he's a two-way player, but he's had a cup of coffee in the league before. He played with our Atlanta Hawks as a backup guard. I think he's solid. I think he's a decent ball handler. Sometimes gets a little ahead of himself, but that's all there is to take from this game, really. It was a nasty game. Brandon Goodwin, I think, can chip in. And in crunch time, it wasn't Rondo on the floor. It was Brandon Goodwin because he can make a shot. He was 8 of 11 in this game, and Rondo's shot, it wavers from time to time. And yeah, we can say, hey, playoff Rondo's going to show up. But he didn't show up with the Clippers last year, and it's a little worrisome at this point of Rondo's career to watch him on the defensive end hop around. Brandon Goodwin is young still, like sort of in his prime, 26 years old, and can help out. I'm a Brandon Goodwin guy. We want to go deep. Good win for Goodwin.
I mean,
Good win.
it's wild the Cavs won this
Yeah.
game. I mean, again, 93-90, pretty low scoring affair, but no Garland. So Chetty Osman was the starting point guard,
That was weird.
and he shot 3 of 16. You're like, ugh. 12 assists though. He was the playmaker out there, and then Goodwin sort of like taking over as the backup point guard. But
I don't know. What's up? Why wouldn't Brandon Goodwin start? What do you got there, JB Bickerstaff? You got a beef with Goodwin? I wouldn't. Jetty Osman has been amazing off the bench for this team.
Yeah,
He has been
yeah.
phenomenal. So it's kind of odd that they would change the lineup like that.
And Kevin Love again as well.
15 and 11.
I mean, hitting big threes as well. Like, what a rejuvenation it's been for him this season. It's so much fun to watch him. And that crowd in Cleveland is just, it's a riot in there right now. They are having the time of their lives because it's just been so unexpected that they continued on from where it started off this season. So great to get a win without Darius Garland there for them.
Bunch of other games I'm going to chuck at everybody here joining us live and listening later, and to you guys here at the table.
I got a take for you for every one of these.
Okay.
So let's go one by
so
one.
I'll do one by one. Jackson's breakout game sends Pacers past Clippers 122-116. What's your take?
Which Jackson did you think had a breakout game?
Right.
When you saw Jackson, who did you think
You
it was?
thought Reggie because
Yeah.
they're playing the Clips.
Oh, I thought Frank. Then I was like,
Wrong team, yeah.
Yeah.
maybe it's Mark.
Yeah.
He's back in the league, playing point guard, setting the table for the Pacers back in the day. Maybe it's Michael, Indiana legend. It was
Gary,
Isaiah.
another Gary.
Yeah, it was Isaiah.
Yeah.
Isaiah Jackson.
I know.
Ooh.
Next game.
Brown scores 29. Celtics run past the shorthanded Heat 122-92.
You hear a lot about schedule losses. The Heat scheduled themselves a loss for this one because they played nobody after that 3 overtime game.
Right.
They basically played 7 good minutes, is what Eric Spoelstra said. He said, throw the rest in a dumpster truck.
Dumpster truck. Wow.
Going with the full name. Most of us say dump truck. He said the best part of the game for the Miami Heat, the only highlight of the night, was when the Celtics showed Eddie House on the Jumbotron.
Was he sweating?
Sweaty Eddie. So, yeah, it was that kind of night for the Miami Heat. They didn't play anybody, and the guys that played didn't play very well. So a nice win for the Celtics, who I think are actually 2 wins over 500.
Yeah, Taz.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 2-game
That's
losing
too many.
streak on deck for the Celtics.
Eddie House, you think of him as a Celtic or Heat? Because he played for both
Celtic.
those teams.
I would think Celtic
Yeah,
first.
I do.
Yeah. He was there, though. He was there for the Celtics.
Right.
And Eric Spoelstra said the best part was that, hey, that guy used to play for us. Throw him in the dumpster truck.
Did he win a championship with both then?
That's a
I
good
think he was
question.
on the 08 Celtics.
Eddie House has 2 rings? I don't know why that seems weird to me, but
He was on the 06
Possible.
Heat? I
No,
don't think
08,
so.
08 Celtics
Yeah,
he was
where-
on. But
where
then,
did he get
no,
the Heat?
20,
Oh, late.
That's it.
2012.
just one.
No? Just
He
one.
was gone after the 2011 season.
Right.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for your next one?
Yep.
Burks and Fournier lead the Knicks to the 116-96 win over the Sacramento Kings.
Every Knicks starter in this game, except for Kemba Walker, had a positive plus-minus.
Oh, that's rare.
So if you want to get right, play against the Kings, who haven't won a game on the road since December 1st. Today's February 1st. That's 2 months of losing on the road.
God.
And Alvin Gentry was asked if the team is tuned out. He's like, I hope not. Not with the lifestyle these guys are leading. Basically, like, who cares about playing basketball? You're an NBA player. You need to have a little responsibility out there and actually give a shit. And he's like, hopefully they do. Yikes. Bad news, Bears. Also interesting in this, Cam Reddish got to play.
Yeah.
They were cheering for him. We want Cam. We want Cam. We want Cam. 5 minutes. 5 minutes of garbage time for Cam Reddish. So that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Kings fans, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
this
bad.
is-
It's bad.
It's horrible. Final one then. Or anything to add, Charlie?
I mean, like,
shaking your
honestly, you can't get blown out by the Knicks, who are just struggling themselves right now. This wasn't even competitive at all. I think Alec Burks listened to the show because he was like, oh, those boys want me out? I'll show them I'm really good. I think Tommy Beer said on Twitter, the Sacramento Kings are like the chicken noodle soup when you've got a cold. You just like, you consume them, you feel better. You know, that's what it was for the Knicks.
Do you do that? Is that your go-to?
No, not anymore. When I was a kid, I think Mum used to bring it out, but no, not
What's your
anymore.
go-to?
Like something with ginger and stuff like that, you know, the miso sort of soup rather than the chicken noodle soup.
Good call. Yeah, I love
All right, final one.
Very good. Yeah.
Dort helps the Thunder top the Blazers 98-81, ending a 7-game skid. Trey.
This was a game.
Yeah. Yeah?
So the Blazers got up by 18.
Yeah.
They lost by 17. That's tough to do when both teams score under 100 points to have a
Yeah.
35-point
Yeah, right.
swing. So yeah, this was a game.
Nice. That's the insight you're looking for.
I mean, what am I going to give you on Thunder?
yeah.
Blazers?
No.
No Shea, no Lillard, no eyeballs.
Okay. Well, it's funny you said that. Early game. All of the games last night,
Yes.
early for the East Coast. You must have loved it.
Absolutely. I didn't know what to do with myself as well.
I know
It's
the
like,
games were over by like what?
I think the last one
started at 8:30.
Yeah,
Eastern
something
Coast?
like that.
Yeah. So call it what? 11. We were free.
Perfect. Yeah, and we got the one really good game in there too with the
Right.
Grizzlies and the Sixers, and then the Hawks and the Raptors was
Yeah,
good
it was
as well.
tight.
And then Trey took us through those last ones. Like, great, there's a couple of those you're not like, all right, I gotta Blazers Thunder, I really gotta sit through this one. You gotta go, get out of here.
Okay. Did anybody try out the, I guess I'll call it NBA RedZone, though I officially called CrunchTime, on the NBA app. As we saw our friend Jared Greenberg sort of hyping it up on Twitter. The idea being, like NFL RedZone, we'll bounce around the games, take you from, close game to close game.
I dabbled.
Check it out? Okay, you did. What's your report? Thumbs up, thumbs down? What's the big deal?
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's been around for a long time, the idea.
Yeah, we used to do it in Canada. It was called court surfing.
And they kind of do it on NBA TV nightly.
Yeah, okay.
But what it's always, number one, it's always hard to find on that NBA app. Everything's hard to find.
Preach.
Where the hell is it? And what the hell is the name of it? It's crunch time, it's game time, it's play time. What is the name of it?
It was called Crunch Time, but again, everybody was looking at it as an NBA RedZone. You're right.
Call it RedZone.
Maybe they can't.
Okay.
The NFL's
Call
got that.
it something different than what they usually call it on TV. It was hard to find. The idea, of course, is
Right.
a good idea.
What was weird is, I'm with you. I think what you're saying is like, this already was happening. Crunch Time, from what I remember when we worked there, maybe it disappeared in the last year or so, but like, I remember Weiner doing it. I think Greenberg hosted it at times. Like, Crunch Time
he's hosted it for like 4 years.
Yeah, Crunch Time was, here's a bunch of games on tonight, and we're going to bounce around. And there were some restrictions, I remember. Like, we can't show you this one because it's on this and all that. And like, that sucks because it's the NBA. They should be able to show you whatever they want. But yeah, that it was just weird that suddenly this was like back getting a little buzz last night, even though I thought this was already a product.
Well, it was never on the NBA app.
It's on the app.
Now it's on the app, but hold on, it's on the app, but where is it on the app?
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay.
You bet your app you can't find it on the app. I'll tell you that. It was hard to find. I literally had to scroll. It was below Danny LaRue and Nate Duncan talking about a game.
Okay.
You literally couldn't find it. It should be,
Prominent,
here's an
yeah.
option. Okay, there's games, and here's the other option. And it actually was on the Apple TV app. It was like sort of there as a game option. Like, anyway.
Just make it like the splash page.
But it makes sense. Of course, bounce around the league. Show you the best games. Like what you're doing with your mouse. Like, there was a time that there were 3 close games in the fourth quarter, and they were showing Knicks Kings, which was a
people
blowout.
are getting a little upset by that.
Because they were just showing a game. You don't need to show the Knicks Kings.
You don't need to.
Do you have any? Did you dabble last night? No.
I went out to dinner.
But you love the idea. You love the idea, I assume.
Not really.
Why?
Because it doesn't work, I don't think. You can't show individual plays like you can in a football game. Because like a football game, you're like, okay, there's 4 minutes left. Here's the last drive. This is the thing that absolutely matters. With basketball, it's like a possession by possession thing. What are you supposed to, you dip in, you see Steph Curry make back-to-back threes. Oh, suddenly we're going out to Philadelphia to show a guy dribble up the court for 24 seconds. Nope, we're going back out to Indiana. Jackson's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're more likely to miss something that happens, but that's what everyone's in the control room doing. Rack it up.
But when we did it court surfing, and for those that don't know, like when we worked for The Score way back in the day up in Canada, and Tass and I were not the first hosts of this, though I think the guide still says we're hosting
Still
it.
on the guide.
Shout out to Tim McCallum.
No one
and
changes the
601
guide.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. But like, we would have times where there'd be too many like close games or endings like all happening at the same time, and like we'd have to show the viewer one of the games, and then the people in the booth doing a great job say, okay, now we'll at least show you the replay of what just happened. So it was
hard.
like high energy and a lot of fun when there was a ton of great endings. And of course, people seem to love that show up in Canada.
It was great.
Yeah.
I used to watch court surfing all the time.
Yeah.
But I sort of just do my own because,
Right.
you're following,
Yeah.
and then you just sort of dip in and out of games. And one, if it looks like
Yeah,
it,
people are lazy though. Like they're just like, you tell me what I should be watching.
But that to me is not red zone if you're waiting for a game to finish and then you go back to the game. That's a highlight of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, I think like is Dwayner father-in-law's good with the remote, right? Like you said.
Yeah, he's good. He's good with the classic Comcast box remote. You switch him to an Apple TV
He's lost.
or a Fire Stick.
Oh,
he's like,
he's hitting the wrong things. Yeah. It's,
But I'd put the remote in Dwayne's hands and say, hey, take us through the best play. Show us the best
I
play.
wouldn't at all.
Okay, not Dwayne, but you're putting
No
it into
offense to
producer.
your father-in-law, but
Essentially,
I'm
you're-
trusting him to take me through the game's action.
Well, let's pretend our father-in-law's in the control room of the
All right.
NBA TV studio.
right.
Let's pretend our father-in-law is Tom Heights, who we used to work with. Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy, I
Here's
trust.
the control.
Yeah.
Here is the control. Don't miss a big
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
Like he just bounces around for you.
Yeah.
they're vets.
Isn't he a Knicks fan though, Tommy? So he's probably
Maybe
watching.
he's
He
the
was
one.
watching the Knicks game.
yeah.
You can't, everybody's got their biases. You're right. All right, well, let's hear from everybody in the stream team or listening or watching later. If you got a chance to check out CrunchTime /NBA RedZone.
Right. Nobody was watching it because it was too far down. I wouldn't say nobody. This is
No,
but
there
it
was a little buzz on Twitter. People were
Was it
sharing.
buzzy?
A little bit. A little bit. I saw.
Good for them.
More than normal, I guess, on a Monday night.
Should be highlighted.
Okay. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll get into a little Is This News. Don't go anywhere.
This ad for Trade Coffee, it's from the heart because I have been receiving Trade Coffee for years. Just arrives at my door every week, 2 weeks, as often as you want it. Trade offered a free bag to me to all of us, I think, to read this ad. As a little sample, I said, nah, that's good. I'm good. I get it. I get it all the time. I love this product. You just pick your type of coffee, you order it whenever it comes, whenever you want. They roast it for you, so I want it next week. They roast it for you, comes to your door, roast to table. And if you don't like it, you say, hey, no thank you. You go on the app, you say thumbs down, and then they'll reproduce some of the ones that you've had prior. I just think, I'm not a coffee snob. I am kind of a coffee snob, but freshness is important. Freshness is super important when it comes to coffee. If it's roasted, it's going to taste good. If it's roasted recently, doesn't matter how you make it, whether it's a French pea, whether it's a Chemex, whether it's a standard drip, whether it's an espresso machine, whether it's an AeroPress, whatever. Freshness is key. I drink coffee every day. I say, hey, why not make it a fresh one? I know I sound a little nuts right now. Anyways,
Must have had a few coffees.
I had a few this morning, and it was quite fresh. This trade copy reads, 90% of coffee from the grocery store is actually stale. I guarantee that is 100% true. If I ever need an extra bag of coffee, go to the grocery store, check the roast date. Everything is like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks old. Ooh. But not with Trade Coffee, baby.
Right.
And Trade is legitimately not expensive. It is very reasonable. So you get coffee, it's fresh, shipped to you as often as you like, whole or ground, ethically sourced, fair trade beans from America's best independent roasters. Actually, I talked about Trade a while back on the show, and one of our fans works at a coffee roaster that Trade uses in Massachusetts. Cool story, bro. Anyway, Trade has been featured by the New York Times, GQ, and No Dunks, like I just told you, and has delivered over 5 million bags of coffee. Their subscription is no hassle. You can skip shipments whenever you want if you're going away or whatever, change your frequency, or cancel at any time. I've told them I don't like a bag, so I've re-upped and doubled up on my Cafe Vita, which I'm drinking right now. God, the crema is delicious. And for our listeners right now, Trade Coffee is offering a total of $20 off your first 3 bags when you go to drinktrade.com/nodunks. To get started, take their quiz at drinktrade.com/nodunks and start your journey to your perfect cup. That's drinktrade.com/nodunks for $20 off your first 3 bags.
I like what you said about fresh, because keeping things fresh is the best way to stay motivated and keep from burning out on doing the same thing over and over. For instance, sometimes you need to start a podcast talking about Fast and Furious so that you can stay excited to talk about basketball. And if you like being fast and furious, then let me tell you all about Peloton. Peloton's pushing P and pushing you further with so much new on the Peloton Bike and Peloton Bike Plus. New classes, new music, new ways to keep your workouts fun and motivating. It's easy to stay motivated when there are always new and exciting classes to explore. Fast and Furious added Jason Momoa. Peloton added boxing courses, which I have heard make for a, quote, fast, furious, and fun workout with Peloton instructors in your corner. With more daily workout variety, it's easier to stick to your goals. So visit onepeloton.com to learn more. That's ONEPELOTON.com for more info.
Back with No Dunks here in the Classic Factory. It's time for a little Is This News? Oh, wow. We got ourselves a new graphic, boys. Hey. Is This News? A segment on the show where I give you guys an NBA headline and you tell me whether or not it's newsworthy. That's the idea, at least. It's really just a sneaky way to get in a bunch of news. First one.
It's always news, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's a dirty little secret.
Yeah. Comes from The Athletic, a fine website. should get yourself in a subscription. Go to theathletic.com/no-dunks. Joe Ingles suffers season-ending torn ACL in left knee. Trey, we know this is news, but what were your thoughts?
Yeah, not super surprising news after watching it, but definitely bummer news for Joe Ingles and the Jazz. This is Joe Ingles' 8th season in the league. It's all been in Utah. To me, he's been an integral part, like right behind Mitchell and Gobert in this era of the Jazz. As Tony Jones, our Jazz writer over at The Athletic, said, this might be his last game we see in the NBA just because he's getting up there in years and his contract is coming to an end. So he hasn't had the greatest season. Ingles has slowed down a little bit. The defense isn't quite there, but it's still a valuable player for the Jazz. The only silver lining now, I feel like Utah needs to ship shake things up regardless. And Ingles was kind of on the trade block already. Now that they know he's not going to be coming back and they still need some help on the wing, I think he's definitely going to be traded. And he's got a decent little deal, about $13 million. Like I said, it's expiring, so you need a team that doesn't need a player for the rest of this year but would like to get off of a longer contract. That's Eric Gordon or Alec Burks. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Jazz getting into the mix for either of those guys.
Lee, we saw that you were devastated by this news on Twitter yesterday.
Just a great guy, Joe. And you're talking about those 8 years he's had in Utah. Well, on top of that, he's basically played for Australia, the World Cup, the Olympics. He hasn't taken time off really for so long. And I think that's a part of the reason he's also getting up there in age. You sort of started to see a little bit of the decline. He's just played so many games. He was the Iron Man at one time there for the NBA. So to see him sort of go like that, I do think it probably is the last time we see him in a Jazz uniform. He's talked about maybe going back and playing in the Australian League at the end of his career. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, just a bummer, Joe. He really, to see him win the bronze medal there for Australia in Tokyo last year was great. And he's just a good guy. So proud of him because when he came to the NBA, the Clippers had him and basically couldn't fit him onto their roster, so they let him go. And Doc Rivers was like, we didn't want to let him go, but we sort of had to, thinking he might be available again. And then he's gone out and really carved a very, very good career for himself there in Utah. And as Trey mentions, I think behind Gobert and Mitchell there, he's probably their third most important player over this recent period of time there. So they're going to miss him, and it's just tough to sort of see him go down like that.
Yeah, do you think this changes the Jazz's plans at the trade deadline at all with this unfortunate news from Ingles?
I like the names Trey brought up. I think they were always thinking about helping out, fortifying their wing position. And
defensively especially.
Yeah, and they have Daniel House, which was a nice little pickup, and although he's been released and he was available, he had some good time in Houston where he is a nice little part, but I'm sure they wanted to upgrade, even though Joe was there along with Jordan Clarkson off the bench, and this was not as good a year for Joe as it was last year, but he is an institution in Utah, and I'm sure he would be okay if they go to him and say, hey, Joe, got to trade your contract, my man. So sorry, and I'm not sure if he ever comes back to the NBA, as Lee said. Maybe he joins Matthew Dellavedova playing in Australia next season or whatever, but he is given a great 8 years to the Jazz, and what a different team the Clippers would have been if they hung on to him. If he turned into what he was for the Utah Jazz as a wing player playing alongside Chris Blake and DeAndre, is kind of like the guy that they could have used, like at peak Joe Ingles. They would have had a little more attitude, so that would have been a different team. But yeah, hopefully he gets back and plays well wherever he plays.
Yeah. It'll be fascinating to see if they can't trade him here to offload his contract to help with their luxury tax payment or to get another player like we talked about they need. If they can't do that or don't do that, will they then look to just waive him with his season of course over, maybe career? It's possible as well too. And you brought up House Jr., more opportunity for him. Pascal, I think Eric Pascal a little bit, the forward position. He is on that team.
Yeah,
some people forget. Not a big fan.
He's fine. He can give you some moments, but I think a bit up and down.
Yeah, I agree. But if they don't make a move, then
yeah, well, that's right.
Play.
And look, Rudy's going to play a ton.
Yeah, the Jazz are in it right now. They've lost 5 in a row and 11-13, and then on top of that, losing really a backbone of their locker room too, a leader of course on their team. That's the other thing. He's good vibes. They always say in terms of keeping spirits up and stuff like that. So that really sucks. All right, our next headline. a little more positive. From NBA.com. Ever heard of it? Joel Embiid, Chris Paul named NBA Players of the Week. Is this news who the NBA selected?
Every single week it's news because they do make a player of the week every single
Yes,
time. One from
they
the
do.
East, one from the West. I really just want to point out.
On top, do you think... I would have to check, but you know when the NBA tweets it out?
Yes.
Like, the Players of the Week this
Yeah.
week are X and X. Do they always do... like the Eastern Conference player first, then the Western? Do they switch it up?
Wow, tough.
It should be East first every time.
I think it should be who had the better week every time.
I'm going alphabetically and time zone wise. That's the only reason I think.
Okay,
East
anyway,
first.
sorry to interrupt.
Anyway, yeah, no, that's good. We need to have some diversions for things like this. But the Phoenix Suns tweeted out, they said, adding another accolade to his Hall of Fame resume.
This put him over the top.
So that got me digging a little bit, and we love the trivia here. So how many Player of the Weeks, according to Real GM, do you think Chris Paul has for his career?
14.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. Did you see that?
I checked it.
Oh, okay, right. Well, okay, a little bit more trivia.
No, but you know, the interesting part is when was the last time Chris Paul won Player of the Week before this?
I didn't get that deep into it.
If you had to guess, like what year? What team even?
I think he did it for the Rockets.
That's right.
Oh.
That's a long time ago at this point. He did it in December 18th, 2017, like that week.
I would have
December
said Thunder.
2017.
I would have said the Thunder the next season. But
Rockets.
Okay,
Good
so
call.
who are the three ahead of him in the Player of the Week? I'll give you a clue. MVPs.
LeBron.
All three of them. No, not not LeBron.
What?
All,
he hasn't
Wait,
had
what?
more
What's the
players of
question?
the week.
What's
no,
the
the
question?
next three directly ahead of him in terms of the Players of the Week awards won.
Are they all
For
current
current?
players?
No, none of them are current. One of them.
So you're telling me like
What a weird-
LeBron has too many players?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. This is like this is like Chris Paul's
Dwayne Wade.
No, not Dwayne Wade.
What spot is Chris Paul in? Do we have?
He's got
somewhere?
He's got 14.
Okay. Other guys have.
Actually, one guy's got 16. The other two have got 15. So
Carl Malone?
no.
Too
I don't know. I don't know.
I know this is hard. This is hard.
Malone
to
has
say.
like 15? No
There's a
way.
link. There's a link between two of the players. One of them, you said, is his current player. No, but we had a big ceremony for him.
Dirk.
Dirk.
Oh, that, yeah, man.
And then there's a player with a link to Dirk.
Steve Nash.
No,
Oh.
but a link in terms of
Michael Finley.
just the way that they sort of played. This guy was a multiple-time MVP.
Multiple. Akeem?
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird, and the last one, another one-time MVP. This guy is he's like everyone's dad. He's like the dad of the NBA.
Dirk.
No,
Luke Walton. Bill Walton.
no.
The
This guy is the most
the
honorable
dad of-
guy. Like
Most honorable guy,
Yeah.
David Robinson.
David
Yeah.
Robinson. There you go.
The Admirals.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Karl Malone had 23, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ballpark, I guess.
Yeah.
How many did Embiid win? Did you check that?
No.
How many do you think he's got already?
5.
This guy checked. That's correct.
No, I didn't, man. I'm just smart.
Okay.
I was wicked smart.
Sicko shit here. This is just interesting.
How do you guys know this stuff?
Four of Embiid's
Say numbers, man.
players of the week
I was gonna say 8.
have come within the month of January.
Wow.
Huh, what does that say about him?
He,
Nothing.
Peaks early.
It says nothing.
Well, is that early? I guess that's
Yeah,
mid-season.
He comes in out of shape, peaks in the middle of the season,
That's-
wears himself down by the end of the
Oh,
season.
that's what I was looking for. It's like he's not winning these generally in November or December. He's got to play himself into shape, and then by January he's humming. Anyway, I thought that was fascinating.
What about Shaq? How many he's got in
wow.
January?
Oh, in January.
I want to know January.
How many do you think he's got overall?
28.
Oh, 20.
He's worse than Karl Malone.
Okay, so Chris Paul, Suns went 4-0. He averaged 22, 7.5, and 13 assists per game for the week, obviously, that he just got honored. And then the Sixers went 3-0 in the games because Embiid was playing. He averaged 35, 12, and 6, and then basically 2.5 blocks. Both of those guys sitting down at the MVP table, as we have discussed. I know Curry's going to make his run here. I'm with you on that, Trey. But right now, to me, the 5 guys, and there can only be 5 at that table, it's Giannis, it's Jokic, it's Embiid, it's Chris Paul, and I think it's Ja Morant. Those are my 5. Agree or disagree?
I agree. Yes.
I only now say this every show so JD can show this.
Yes. I think so. I think Ja has to be there because
I
of
do
the way
too.
the Grizzlies are playing.
Okay. Final headline. This was from a couple days ago, but we had a busy show yesterday with the winners and losers of the NBA weekend, and we talked about every other sport imaginable. So let's slip it in now. ESPN By way of Woj, Kings pull out of pursuit of 76ers Ben Simmons, sources say. What do you think, Cass? Is this news?
It's impossible to say what the Kings had to give to the Sixers.
Right. What Morey was maybe asking
Yes.
for.
However, I'm going to applaud the Kings right now. Why the heck not? I assume that they pulled out because the Sixers said, give us Tyrese Halliburton. And they said, nay. Because I think they'd say okay to De'Aaron Fox. But I think the Kings should hang on to Tyrese Halliburton. Just wait. Just wait. You got 9 days left. Pulled out 4 now. You can always go back in. It's not done. So I think if Morey, they both walk away from the table, and Morey comes back and says, okay, fine, we'll take the De'Aaron Fox package. Good move. Good move, Kings. You know, it's impossible to give the Kings kudos because who the heck knows what was on the table. But I'm giving them the kudos because I do think it's for Tyrese Halliburton, who had a monster game against the Philadelphia 76ers over the weekend. Those beautiful sidestep shots. He finished with 37 or whatever he finished with. That's the one untouchable, I think, on that roster.
Okay.
Don't trade him. He would work well with Simmons. So hang on, baby. Hang on. Hang on for this 9-day ride and trade De'Aaron Fox. I think. So, yeah. Let's applaud the Kings because we have no factual evidence. Yeah. Come on, Kings. There we go.
Come on, Kings. You can
Oh, we're getting some momentum going now. Maybe.
I was trying to do a lame limp clap for the Kings because they don't really deserve it, but then it's tough to when that starts happening and it starts building.
We would have had to do a slow clap for 9 whole days. But I feel like it was picking up and ramping up right till the trade line. I don't believe them. I don't believe them. I think they're still in.
Me too.
I'm like you, Tass. I think they're just out for now. They're saying, hey, we've got a lot of players who we would trade. There's maybe 1 or 2 guys we wouldn't. Let's talk to the other 28 teams and see if they're interested. Hey, you want a Buddy Hield? You want a Harrison Barnes?
Right.
We don't have to deal until the Sixers. We might, but we don't have to. So for now, they're out. But really, they're in.
Yeah, because according to Woj in this report, the Kings believe the asking price too steep and that a pathway to a trade agreement with the Sixers just doesn't exist, Lee. But do you agree with what the guys are saying? Like, for now, okay. The Kings say, no, we're not giving you Halliburton or whatever you're asking for. But could it be rekindled as we get closer to that?
Of course,
February 10th
the Kings are like, all right, we're leaving then. We're definitely going. We're out. We're definitely going.
Goodbye.
That trade's off the table.
See ya.
We're taking it. It's not there. No, I mean, the thing is, it's Maxey playing well and Fox playing bad has made it complicated. Because,
Yeah, that's true. You can trade Fox
Yeah.
for Simmons straight up.
Yeah, I think
like it works.
You know, if Fox was playing at a really high level, well, then maybe the Kings would say, well, no, we don't want to trade him. But they don't need that Fox in there when Maxey's playing this way. So that complicates it. Tyrese is definitely the guy that the Sixers would be like interested in starting the conversation around. But the Kings.
And do you think, like Tass is saying, that's smart of the Kings? Like that is the one untouchable on that roster of anyone.
Yeah.
That's the one you just, come on. You drafted him a couple years ago. He's obviously looks like to be a great player and can only get better in theory. Don't go giving him away.
That's the thing. Right now, because of the season that Fox is having, if you trade the guy who's actually playing really well, it's like, well, we shouldn't have given him away. We have all these other pieces. So it's a bit messy. But yeah, them saying, I'm breaking up with you first to Philadelphia really is what it's all about. But I think if Darryl calls them back and says, all right, we're in, they'll be like, yep, no worries, great. Here
But what if, does this mean like they block their number?
Nah, of course not.
No?
Deleted it out of their
So they
phones.
just tell Darryl, stop calling us with this demand.
I don't think
package."
Darryl's calling them, really. I think they're saying, hey, we're interested in Simmons. All right, give us Halliburton. Anyone else? No. You sure? Yeah.
Right.
Nobody else.
Okay.
All right. And I think they're gonna call Darryl and say, just letting you know we're still out, okay? We are still out.
Right.
But they actually just set the phone down on the table and it's still off.
You hear the water running, fitting dishes,
You there?
stuff like that.
I mean, it's also could be Morey saying, you got to take Tobias. You got to take Tobias. That part of it as well.
I guess, yeah.
It could be, for sure. Fox for Simmons, do it.
If you're the Kings, you are doing that immediately.
Yes,
it sounds
of
like.
course.
The Sixers, like Lee said, not as convinced that that's all that exciting.
Yeah.
Although I love Fox on a different
Yeah,
team.
exactly.
Can't wait for Fox to become an absolute all-star
Yeah.
on some other team. Guaranteed to happen. But yeah, okay. I'm with you guys that they're not going to do that move right now. Straight up, at least.
Straight up.
Straight up.
I guess one question off of this, though, because we're getting closer to next week's deadline. Do you think, if you had to guess, like which team is most likely to make a trade like this week to jump the
this
gun a
week.
little bit. Yeah, like to try and beat maybe some of the other GMs to the punch. Because that sometimes happens. And I think it's sometimes a bit of a slick move. If you're a guessing man. Or which one do you want to see?
Well, look, the way that the Wizards season started great and has fallen off, what's Beal, what's he staying in Washington for? He should go and say, all right, let's go, let's move, let's get me out of here. Go me somewhere else. There's players out there. I would like to see that happen because otherwise he's just wasting his career at the moment.
Right.
There.
Okay, we know you're a big Beal fan.
Yeah.
You want to get him out of Washington. Any other teams or players, guys, Trey, that come to mind?
Jazz.
The Jazz.
Sure.
So a minor move is.
Oh,
what
I
you're
just
saying.
got Joe Ingles on the brain right
yeah.
now. That's a guy. They need to trade him. Like I maybe it's a little harsh to say, but now that he's not going to be playing, you need to get something from that spot. And like I do think that Eric Gordon and Alec Burks are going to be big pieces that are moved at the deadline. People are going to be like, "Hey, we got to get them."
Right.
They have a little bit of playoff experience, and the Jazz always value continuity. So getting your guy a week early ahead of the All-Star break, maybe that's a selling point as well.
And the Jazz are trying to win a title.
Yeah.
And they really are. And even if, they've dropped to 4th in the Western Conference, a big part has been their superstars not playing basketball. So when they're out, it makes sense that they're going to drop a little bit. And they're trying to win. And again, maybe it's all right that they start the playoffs or have to win in the second round on the road because they've been so bad at home. My question is, if they get Eric Gordon on their team, does Eric Gordon classify as a good Gord? Because his last name is Gordon.
He's a good goal.
He's a good Gord. Yeah,
He is a
I
good
agree.
guard, yeah.
I agree.
I think
he's the
answer to
best
that. Might be a
three-point
great
shooter.
Gary for all I know. That really threw you for a loop.
He
wouldn't it?
really did. He takes tough shots.
Can be.
Yep, that's right. He catches fire. All right, we're going to take one more break. When we come back, a fascinating tweet of the night, and we'll fire up a brand new month when it comes to the pickup.
Athletic Greens. You know who loves Athletic Greens? My wife. Me, got a month's supply. Which we all did, but in this house I got it, but she horned in on it, which is fine. I can share. And she was loving it. So we subscribed and we got the double because, we like to take it both every day. But here's the thing. We were running out of that original supply, which was causing a bit of anxiety every day. It was like, can you track the Athletic Greens? Are they coming? We're almost into our travel packs. Good news though, it arrived. And here's the thing with Athletic Greens: with one scoop, it says delicious scoop. I don't want to get in trouble again, but it's fine. I'm not gonna go so far as to say it's delicious. It's tasty. It tastes like it's good for you.
It's healthy, yeah.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing. Rachel says it's refreshing. So she likes it, and I like it. And with one scoop, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food, sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. That's a new one for me. I had never heard of adaptogens until Trey said it the other day. To help you start your day right, this special blend of ingredients supports your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, and of course, my favorite, gut health. Pooping, guys, so important. I love a poop you can set your watch by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every day, and bing, bang, boom, it's done.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Poop time. It'll fit into whatever diet you're following. Keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. AG1 is a small microhabit with big benefits. It's the one thing you can do every single day to take great care of yourself. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into cold and flu season. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And yes, it's delicious. It's delicious, guys. Don't get on me. It's delicious. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/nodunks. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/nodunks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
So we're 1 month into 2022. Pleased to say, meat-free so far for me. Trying to go full-on veggie head. I'm working on it. And I'm not really sure where eggs fall into that category. Some people say they're not in that veggie category, and some say they are. I'm not really sure. But I don't have to worry anymore because thanks to Just Egg, our latest sponsor, I can get my eggs fixed without actually consuming eggs, which is great. Because they sent us a couple of samples. One of them was that sort of pre-made thing that you chuck in the fry pan there and cook it. Pretty good. But they also gave us a liquid version for scrambled eggs and omelets. And like from the company called Just Egg, that's all it is. Just egg. So I love it. I get out there and I make my scrambled eggs in the morning, and sometimes the omelette. I mix it up. It's
nice.
Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to say both are good. And the thing with the liquid version, which is really good, if you are making scrambled eggs, sometimes you're like, okay, 2 eggs is enough, but sometimes it's not enough. With this liquid version, you can actually indulge because it's not actually eggs. So you can have more. So you can fill up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. Just Egg is cholesterol-free, plant-based egg. It has about the same protein as a chicken egg and less saturated fat. Take that, chickens. Plus, Just Egg is packed with cholesterol-lowering polyunsaturated fat. Chicken eggs wish they were this healthy. They absolutely do. Show off the new cholesterol-free you by buying a bottle of Just Egg today and doing the planet a solid all at the same time. Just Egg. Really good eggs.
Great stuff. JD, I saw Joe in the stream team saying you look like the dude today. JD abides.
You should see me from the belt down. Got my Birkenstocks on, my wool socks, and shorts. And I drove to Lincoln to school like this today.
Did you get out of the car?
No.
Oh, well, no.
But, if there's like a fender bender or something, it's going to be embarrassing. It's
true. It's true.
Oh, well.
All right. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Tweet of the night. A little interesting here today because it's from our guy, Rob Perez, at Worldwide Wob, and he tweeted last night. What? That's all he tweeted. What? But there was a video that was attached, of course, to this tweet, and we grabbed the clip, and I'll set it up very briefly here. It's a Sixers fan trying to play blackjack against Franklin the dog, the Sixers mascot. He's the dealer, okay? Let's watch it.
All right, 76ers fans, it's now time for Parks Casino Blackjack. I'm here with my main man, Austin. He's going to go head-to-head with Franklin in a classic game of blackjack. We know how this goes. You got to get as close to 21 as possible without going over. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's get to it, brother. Let's get to it. Okay.
Franklin is dropping cards right now.
In the waistcoat.
Yeah.
Looking good.
He said he wanted to hit. Okay.
Hitting on 13 makes sense.
Against the 7.
Right.
Franklin. Hooking you up.
Okay. 17 now. It's
Stay at home.
interesting.
You got to stick there, don't you?
You wanna hit
17
us?
versus a 7.
No, he says, come on. He's feeling it, Lee. He's like, let's hit. Franklin, give me a card. Whoa! All
He's
right.
done it. Well
20.
done.
Sweet.
Looking good.
Good,
What
man.
you want to do?
Well, he's home.
Crowd is trying to encourage him.
Go.
He said he want one more hit.
He's feeling an ace.
Franklin's like, what?
And he busts. Drops it.
Wow.
We still gonna hook you up with that prize. Way to play.
So it doesn't really matter. Who cares? You're getting the prize anyway.
So, okay, a couple just things from this. Again, thanks to Worldwide Wob for getting that up online. Was the guy never played blackjack before? Was unsure what he was doing? Like, did he think he was supposed to get to 21? Like,
I think he has to have thought that that's what he was trying to hit 21 on the head. Yeah, you don't hit at 17. I mean, you might push at 17, but you don't hit. So, yeah.
Okay.
You definitely don't hit at 20.
No. The other part, I said this to JD before you guys got in here. I was amazed that they had like an animation of Franklin actually giving the last card.
Yeah.
Because think about it, like they're creating this game. They're like, no one's ever gonna hit on 20. Like, you're good. Like,
They're like, we'll get you to 17. Hopefully you don't hit. But if you do, we're sliding you a 3.
Yeah.
Locking
then you got
in.
the win.
Yeah.
And
Game over.
Yeah,
No
but
more videos.
Someone wise enough within the Sixers, game ops department was like, well, who knows? Somebody could hit on 20, and we better have Franklin flip in one more card and go play her buzz. So
The guy was
Good on
wearing, did you see his hat?
No.
What it had written on it? I don't know if you can bring it up and all that, JD. I think it says expensive pain on his hat. So he was like,
the guy that's playing the game.
Yeah.
Expensive.
So he must be just an awful gambler. I wonder if he knows Cam Stewart.
Anyway,
I also like to live dangerously.
See, look at that.
Expensive pain.
yeah, it must be a brand, I guess, or something. I've never heard of it.
But the way they just at the end say, you get the prize.
You get the prize anyway. You get the prize anyway.
It's like this game is designed for you to win. Like you cannot lose. You just can't lose. But oh well.
It's like Daryl Brown at a Montreal casino. He had 18. Kept hitting. Kept saying, frappe moi. Hit me in French. Frappe moi. You didn't need to hit on 18, Daryl.
Okay, here's a question, though. Let's say he stays on 17. He stands. What do you think Franklin's flipping over for a second card? What's the dealer got as the second card? And then I assume he's going to bust, right? Like, that's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, he was going to get the 10.
So he's probably going to flip a 9 or an 8 and then hit one more. Okay.
He was getting the jack.
I lost. Oh, it's so good.
In Sweden, though, a push, you lose. The dealer wins, which is crazy.
Right.
Especially when you don't know that. Because I was playing there, and we pushed, and I said, no, it was a push. That was a push. I said, nah, in Sweden, house wins. I'm like, that's not the rule. That is not the rule.
Real Swedish house mafia.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. It was in a club too.
It was in a club. What?
Yeah.
That changes things. So it wasn't a casino.
No, not a casino, but it was like there were tables set up there. Like it was proper casino rules, but they were fudging the numbers a little bit there in Stockholm.
Goosing them.
Yeah.
Swedish rules. All right. Pick 'em results. Nope, there are none because we didn't pick last night. We're starting a brand new month here in February. Brought to you by BetMGM. So, Tass, what is tonight's game that we're picking from? We're all 0-0.
Yeah, we've got a rematch from Saturday night. Raps Heat, this time in Toronto. So, I understand why the three of you guys are taking the Toronto Raptors. Totally makes sense.
Playing well.
I'm taking the Heat because nothing makes sense. They're coming off a 30-point loss where they didn't play their starters. I mean, they're big-name players. No Bam, no Jimmy. Do they play tonight? Who the heck knows what's going on in the NBA? But I think they bounced back after a 30-point loss and after losing to the Raps on Saturday. I'm sure they're ready to go, especially with their guys fresh if they do play.
Okay, yep. Everybody else taking the Raps. Got to win by 2 or more, but Tass has the Heat. I saw the No Dunks Discord has their very own, pick'em battle going. Like, they're playing along. Cool. That's what I mean. I saw people, sorry, Tass, but I saw people yesterday happy that they at least beat you in the month of January. I did see that a couple times.
That hurts.
That hurts, eh?
Like hitting on a 20. That hurts.
Swedish rules. All right, so good luck to everybody tonight. Thanks to the stream team for joining us live. Take a second if you haven't already to like the video and subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. We'll be back for tomorrow morning's daily show live at 10 a.m. Eastern, and then later on Wednesday in the afternoon, brand new Beach Steppin' podcast. We'll go live once again from the Classic Factory, so get your questions in. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at No Dunks Inc. Get yourself an Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/NoDunks, and No Dunks merch, always available over at NoDunks.com. And those sweet No Dunks, like, old Cavaliers jerseys I showed you guys the other day. Remember I was rocking one at the end of the show. We are making those. It's going to be a limited run, but they are coming, and we'll let you know as soon as they're available to purchase. They're not going to last long, I don't think. But, we'll let you know. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Fuzzy Fonzie, I got a cue for you. Waka waka!
Embrace the day, people.